Pride and Prejudice. Graded Reader Level 1. Story. Elizabeth Bennet lives with her family. She has 4 sisters. Her mother wants her daughters to marry rich men. One day, a rich man named Mr. Bingley moves to their town. Mr. Bingley brings his friend, Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy is very rich, but he seems unfriendly. Elizabeth thinks Mr. Darcy is proud. This is where the story begins. Mrs. Bennet, girls, a rich man has moved to town. His name is Mr. Bingley. Jane, oh, really? That's exciting. Elizabeth, does he have a friend? Mrs. Bennet, yes, his friend is Mr. Darcy. He is even richer. The Bennet family goes to a party. Mr. Bingley is kind. He likes Jane. Mr. Darcy is quiet and looks serious. Elizabeth, Mr. Darcy looks proud. Charlotte, yes, he does not talk much. Mr. Bingley, Jane, you look lovely tonight. Would you like to dance? Jane, yes, thank you. Mr. Darcy was talking to some other men. When the music starts, he watches Mr. Bingley and Jane dance. Mr. Darcy, Mr. Bingley is always so cheerful. He is enjoying the dance. Elizabeth overhears Mr. Darcy talking to his friend. Mr. Darcy, the people here are very different from us. They are not very refined. Elizabeth thinks Mr. Darcy is looking down on her and her friends. Elizabeth, Mr. Darcy does not seem very nice. Later, Mr. Darcy talks to Elizabeth. Mr. Darcy, hello, Miss Bennet. Elizabeth, hello, Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy, you like to read books? Elizabeth, yes, I do. Mr. Darcy, I think reading is important. But many people here do not read much. Elizabeth, I agree, but everyone is different. Mr. Darcy, yes, but I find it hard to talk with people who do not read. Elizabeth thinks Mr. Darcy is being rude and dismissive. Elizabeth, I still think Mr. Darcy is proud. One day, Mr. Darcy visits Elizabeth. Mr. Darcy, Miss Bennet, I have something to tell you. Elizabeth, what is it, Mr. Darcy? Mr. Darcy, at first I did not like you. But, I watched you. You are kind to your family. You are smart and strong. I cannot stop thinking about you. Elizabeth, what did you see that made you change your mind? Mr. Darcy, I saw how you helped your sister when she was sad. You made her smile? I saw how you care for your father when he is tired. You always listen to him. You are very patient with everyone, even when they are difficult. Elizabeth, I did not know you noticed those things. Mr. Darcy, yes, I noticed everything. And it made me see how wonderful you are. Elizabeth, but you were so distant and proud. Mr. Darcy, I am sorry. I was shy and did not know how to show my feelings. But now, I want you to know that I love you. Elizabeth thinks about it. Elizabeth visits Mr. Darcy's house. She sees how kind he is to his staff and family. She learns that Mr. Darcy helped her sister, Lydia, when she was in trouble. He did not tell anyone. Elizabeth, Mr. Darcy, I did not know you helped my sister. Thank you. Mr. Darcy, I wanted to help because I care about you. Elizabeth sees that Mr. Darcy is very different from what she first thought. He is not proud, but kind and caring. Elizabeth also learns from Mr. Bingley that Mr. Darcy often speaks well of her. Mr. Bingley, Mr. Darcy admires you very much, Elizabeth. Elizabeth begins to see Mr. Darcy in a new light. She starts to feel a growing interest in him. Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy start to spend more time together. They go for walks and talk about many things. Elizabeth sees a different side of Mr. Darcy. He is kind and thoughtful. Elizabeth, Mr. Darcy, you are not as proud as I thought. Mr. Darcy, and you are not as stubborn as I thought. They laugh and enjoy their time together. One day, Mr. Darcy asks Elizabeth, "Will you marry me, Elizabeth?" Elizabeth smiles, "Yes, Mr. Darcy, I will marry you." "Elizabeth, Mr. Darcy, I love you too." They get married and live happily. The moral of the story: do not judge people quickly. Give them a chance to show who they really are.